Welcome back, everybody. Bring you guys a new YouTube video today. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to get the exotic Ergo some sword inside of the Destiny 2 final shape. So let's jump right into this. After beating the final shape expansion, you beat it on normal or legendary, you will get this quest called Destined Heroes. After accepting the quest, you need to tune into the radio in the Lost City. After the quest will update, it will say investigate the activity on Sabathoon's Lucent Hive near the portal. You will launch the mission from the Lost City. You cannot miss it because it's a big yellow logo. Once the quest starts, it's going to start you in the Lost City, and it's pretty much straightforward from here. It tells you directly where to go. Once you reach this kind of mini encounter with this enemy with the sword, you're pretty much going to pick up the sword, and don't mind, my friend actually picked it up, and basically you hold the guard button on the sword, and pretty much when the enemy hits you, it's going to reflect off the sword shield, and it's going to hit the logo, which it's going to release to open the door. And it can be quite buggy at times, but it is pretty easy and simple. This next encounter is pretty simple and easy. You just pick up the sword and you pretty much guard it when the enemies hit you. It's going to reflect off your sword, and you're pretty much going to hit all these symbols. What you do is you rotate to the other side, and you pretty much do the same thing. You hold your guard your sword, let the enemies hit you. It will ricochet off your sword onto the symbols, which it could be a little buggy at times because the enemies would just stare at you for some reason and won't do anything. So make sure to pick up the hype sword once again. Then you're pretty much going to use the heavy attack on the small orbs above the symbols. You're going to use your heavy attack, which is it sends like a long range projectile to destroy the orb above the symbol. Then now you can use to guard your sword. The enemy is shooting you, it will bounce off your sword onto the symbol, which you need to do this for all three symbols, which it's basic and easy. It's basically repeat from the steps we did earlier. An eyeball will spawn in, and pretty much need to take that out. And once you use your sword to correlate to the enemies that you're fighting, the shields will break off the enemies and you can take them down. Then we'll move on to the next step. This next encounter is even easier. You're going to see these little pedestals, and these little balls are corresponding to the Pacific symbol that we're going to be throwing them at, and you can tell by the colors of them. So basically, you take the purple one, you throw out the purple symbol, then you take the red ball, throw out the red symbol, and it's basically, you take the ball and you throw it at the corresponding one that the same color. So it's pretty much easy. Clear all the enemies around you. I was playing with my friend, so it's so much easier than you're fighting the Witch Queen once again, and you don't really kill her. You just bring her down to low health, and she pretty much flies away. The next encounter is pretty much the same thing. You get the hype sword and use the heavy attack to destroy the orb above covering the pedestals, and you just basically shoot it like you saw there. And basically there's going to be these orbs around these pedestals that's going to be corresponding to the different color above the symbols, and basically you just keep repeating it until it's completed. Then you just fight the Witch Queen once again, and then you do damage. After a few seconds, you will be teleported to a different location, and you accept this quest, and it will give you another quest. So just wait it through, and the current quest you're on will update, and it will eventually go on to your next one, which this will lead you into Gate 6, and you will accept this wild card quest. And this is going to give you another exotic sniper that has nothing to do with this quest, but we'll worry about that later. So the current quest is going to update. Then you're going to talk to your ghost in the Lost City, and basically you're going to accept another quest, and it's basically there is a two-step quest part of this quest. I know it's very confusing. So there's one called Lost in the Light and Found in the Dark. So we need to complete these two quests to move on to get this sword. We're going to add a waypoint to the Lost in the Light, and we're going to fast travel to the landing location. You can actually use a sparrow of this short amount of time, but not all the way through. Once you reach that objective, it's going to tell you exactly where to go, and you're going to receive this kind of suppressor grenade for your subclass for Prismatic. If you look to your right, you can launch the next mission for this exotic quest. Once you move to this next area, you're going to activate this kind of white box, and basically you're going to move above where the white box was, and you're going to move into this next area, which is going to be tons of enemies. So make sure you clear everything out. All the enemies in here are pretty easy, and I'm not going to lie to you, the enemies in here are pretty freaking easy. So you're going to run into this like small little boss here you need to take out basically, and we watch out because there's a lot of enemies, so it doesn't mean you can't die. But there's going to be this kind of like this weird terminal thing where you have to put your ghost in, and basically you have to defend it without it getting hit, and you wait for it to reach to 100%. Don't worry if it gets damaged enough where you can't defend it for a long period of time. You will be able to put your ghost back into it, defend it once again, and you can just keep doing it until you finish 100%. As we move into this next area, it's quite easy. So basically you're going to have these mini enemy bosses that are going to be next to these glowing lights. What you need to do is once you pick up a certain amount of motes from these enemies, you're going to do the opposite corresponding to that color. So if you pick the one, it's going to be vice versa. So what you need to do is once you pick up the white one, you're going to go to the other side and pretty much deposit. And then at the place where you deposited, you're going to kill that boss. Then you're going to go to the other side and deposit that one. So it's pretty much going to the other side to another, which is very confusing. But once you see it in the gameplay, you understand. This next boss encounter is pretty simple and easy. So what you need to do is you pretty much need to do as much damage to the boss until you get to the halfway point. Then once you get to the halfway point, there's going to be these specific enemies that you need to take down that's going to drop these specific modes. Basically, you take the white modes to the dark and you take the dark modes to the white and you deposit those. And basically, once that's done, you can actually do damage to the boss and you pretty much kill them. And that's pretty much this encounter, which is pretty easy and simple. So it literally tells you the icons above their names and what enemies to kill and where to take the modes to. It literally tells you, so you don't have to guess like a dungeon or like a raid. But once you load it into the next mission, you're going to be in this cave. And I forgot to record this part. I'm certainly sorry. It literally tells you where to go exactly in this cave. And you will get this specific fragment for our prismatic. Then this will lead into our next mission. Oh, this next area looks very familiar. Keep pushing way through this mission. Then you're going to activate this little box and it's going to appear this little explosive drone, which you need to shoot to blow up this door. And you're going to go through the door and you're going to take out these servitors that are going to give you a ball that you need to place into these canisters here. Then it's going to drop these 3 explosive drones that you need to destroy with against the weavers, which is the new type of enemies in the final shape, which is pretty cool. And you pretty much repeat that until you basically kill all the weavers with the explosive drones. So your next location is you're going to activate this box. Once again, you're going to defend this explosive drone. Make sure it doesn't get shot or anything. Make sure to defend it with your gun, and you're going to escort it to the next door. You have to explode. Then you're going to go to the next room that you have to destroy the servitors, and it's going to drop this ball that you need to deposit, and it's going to drop these drones once again, and it's going to explode the bubble around the weavers, which is the new type of enemies. You're going to do that twice, and this part is once done. You're going to go further into the mission, activate another box, which you need to take the enemies around, take them out. You need to escort this drone once again. You're going to take out all the enemies around it. Be advised, this drone can be destroyed, so make sure you take everything out, and there's going to be a boss next to the door. You're going to take the drone next to the door. It's going to explode the door once again. Then you're going to move on to the boss round. You're going to destroy the boss with your super, with all the power you got. You're going to do as much DPS as possible, and you're going to pretty much take him to half health once again. And this is where the mechanic comes in. You're going to destroy the servers on each side of this room. You're going to pick up this ball, put it into the center of the room, and you're going to go to the other side, destroy the servitor, and you're going to pick up another orb, bring it to the center of the room once again, and it's going to drop these explosive drones that are going to damage the boss. And this is another damage round that you can do. And once that's over, you pretty much repeat the process that we did. You destroy the servitors on each side of the room, pick up the orb, take it to the center of the map, and you do it on each side. Be advised, there is a lot of enemies in these rooms, so make sure you're prepared. And once you deposit the last orb, it's going to drop these explosive drones once again. It's going to damage the boss, and you can only do so much damage to the boss. It's going to go to this bubble. Then you're going to take it to the center of the room, and it's going to get squished by this giant robot that's going to end the mission. Whatever you do when you're towards the end of the mission, please do not abandon the activity because you have to restart that specific mission. You're going to get teleported to the next one, and we're going to unlock a hammer for our Titan for prismatic for our subclass, which is going to be very epic. I like how all this is tied in with exotic quest and unlocking your aspects for your prismatic subclass, which is a new subclass for the final shape. This is pretty cool how all this is tied in. There's actually a lot of lore you can actually have the option to listen to throughout these missions, which is actually pretty cool. So let's move on. Now it's time to start the quest Found in the Dark, which is located at the bottom of the map, and you can fast travel to the Blooming. You're immediately going to follow up to another aspect that's going to be unlocked for prismatic, and this is actually really cool. And there's more lore if you choose the option to listen to it, and we can just go right into the next quest, which is called Found in the Dark, and we will immediately be spawned at that location. As you move on to this next area, you're going to destroy this enemy inside of this bubble. It's going to open up a doorway which you can walk through. You're going to go further in progress, and as you open this next area, you're going to have a lot of enemies, and there's going to be these red lasers trying to target you. You need to maneuver around them. Then as you move on to the next room, you're going to clear all these enemies out. Another enemy inside of this bubble that you need to take out. It's going to open that door in front of you that's already blocked off, and it's going to open once you take out the enemy inside the bubble. Then you're going to move through it, the objective here, and there's going to be another location where these red lasers are going to try to take you down and clear the enemies. And you need to take out these yellow bar enemies that are going to have these antennas that you need to destroy these explosive barrels. Find the yellow bar enemies, destroy them, pick up the antennas, and then destroy them with these explosive barrels. Then we're going to parkour up this hill with these little platforms platforms here, and we're basically going into the next area. We basically do the same thing, go to these bubbles, destroy the enemies, make sure to take out the turrets because they can be quite annoying. And there's gonna be 2 enemies inside of these bubbles that we need to take out, and we basically take out these yellow bar enemies. Once again, bring the antenna to the explosive barrel, and we do that twice until this objective is complete. And it's pretty much the same thing, but in a different location, if that makes any sense. Then just take the antennas to the explosive, and these things can kill you, so watch out. So a boss will spawn in, you would basically get it half health, and then there's gonna be something on the ground that's gonna be like prismatic, and you wait for the bar to load up. As you see here, it lights up purple, pinkish, and you need to activate it. Then you're going to use your prismatic to take out the prismatic enemies. You're going to eliminate the yellow bar enemies, and if you run out of prismatic, you need to go back to where you got it the first time, then get it again and take out the other yellow bar enemy. Then you need to take 2 of these guys out before you can actually do boss again to the enemy, so you can take the boss down, and you do that twice until he's pretty much dead. And that is that. The next area is going to be the same thing, it's just more frozen. You're going to get this buff where it's like biting cold. Make sure to move around this area and make sure that time does go down, because that cold will kill you if you don't stay next to these fire pits. And I'm going to clear this area. I'm going to destroy these enemies inside of these balls. I'm going to do the second one, same thing. Then I'm going to go to the yellow bar enemies, take it down, and I'm going to take the ball, and you can take these gravity lifts that take you to the other side of the map, and it will get you to the upper platform to destroy the first generator. Then basically you do the same thing as you did with the first one. Go to that same yellow bar enemy, make sure you don't die, because the biting cold will kill you like it killed me here. Then make sure to go back to the yellow enemy. If you don't die, then pick up the ball, then take the gravity lift one more time. Then you need to use that to destroy the generator, which will end that process. And basically you're going to move on to a different area, which is like the same thing. You just destroy these both enemies inside of this bubble, and find the yellow enemies, pick up the ball, throw the balls at the generator. Do that twice at this area, and that's basically all you do. And make sure to watch out with biting cold, because it will kill you if you don't stay next to the fire pits, because the cold can really catch you off guard if you're not paying attention at this location, because you're just surrounded by so many enemies and you're trying to destroy these generators while you're getting shot out from all directions. So make sure to pay attention to that. And this part is really easy. And now you're going to end up with Sabala's house, which you end here at the campaign. Then you're basically going to do the same thing. You're going to destroy the same enemies in the bubble, destroy the yellow enemies. You're going to pick up the ball, destroy the 2 generators, and basically going to do the same thing. You can actually drop the ball and actually fight enemies at the same time, then pick up the ball again, then throw that at the generator, and then basically destroy it. Then basically repeat the process until both generators are basically destroyed. And once destroyed, you're going to fight a tank, which is a gatekeeped, which is dumb. And basically you're going to do half damage to the tank. You're going to go to the enemies, destroy the enemies inside of the ball, and basically repeat the process until you kill the tank. And you're going to get teleported once again, and you're going to be into this little Sabala's house with lore, and you're going to get into the aspect for your prismatic. And this is optional lore, it's up to you. Fast travel back to the Lost City. From the Lost City, you're going to launch Destined Heroes exotic mission. You are basically just going to further into the mission. You're going to take out like 10 of these witches, which they go down in one hit, because I got my strong tight build that one taps my axe to enemies, which is very strong. And you're just going to parkour up this mountain into the cave that's going to lead you into this cliff. You need to take out this enemy. You're going to oversee 10 enemies that you need to take down. You're going to run into an ogre that you can one tap with your rocket launcher. Keep moving forward. There's going to be a lot of enemies. As you progress more, you're going to run into like 10 ogres, which is crazy. I cut them one shot with my hothead, then I popped my super. I destroyed everything in my path, and it's going to go into this gray area. We have to jump platform to platform to platform onto another platform, and it's going to lead to another cave, which you got to jump, and you're going to lead into this another arena. As you enter this arena, you're going to take out Taken till it hits 100% on your left hand side, and once you do that, your screen is going to go kind of grayish like it did previously. You're going to interact with these 3 lights. There's an icon on your screen that tells you directly where they're at, so just interact with them. And basically you're going to do the same thing again. You're going to destroy the Taken before it hits 100%, interact with the lights once again 3 times. It tells you where they're at, then take down 2 tormentors, which are freaking easy as hell. Then after that, fast travel to this location, and
we stand together on the precipice of annihilation. All our battles and all our losses have led to this moment. One final battle against the architect of the collapse. One last step together into the end.
In spite of all the power the Witness has, we stand undefeated. We have endured endless tragedies, endless losses. But we come back fighting. Today is no different.
Just a god of darkness. We got this, right?
Together,
We do.